Hello, everyone. We're back on the Waiting All Day for Sunday Night podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Chase Younts. My other host is about 7 or 8 blocks down the street and right by Great American Ballpark, Alex Frank. What's going on, Alex? You're back from Florida.
Well, Chase, I am back from Florida, and I have to tell you, as someone who is ATL born and Cincinnati raised, I finally figured out why Atlanta traffic is so much worse than Cincinnati traffic. You want to know why that is?
Why?
Well, when you have such a densely populated city in Atlanta, and then you add the hot Atlanta element to it in the summers, you have people going to and coming back from vacation. You can imagine the nightmarish situation that I found myself in twice in the last week.
Ooh, and thankfully you were able to make it out of that because, wow, Atlanta traffic, I've been through there a couple times. It is no joke at all. You were born there, too. That's another thing. I mean,
no joke. Another thing, too, though, Chase, is I don't know about you, but you'll be feeling 22 on July 3rd.
Yeah, it's actually when the show's going to drop. So, hey, thanks for the birthday wishes, guys. Appreciate it. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm feeling
Happy
22.
Birthday to you, and 22 years old.
Yes, sir. 22 and still trying to learn a lot about life. So there we go. I appreciate the birthday wishes.
All right. Well, let's keep the positivity going here. We like to do that on this show. We want to congratulate a member of the Football Night in America team and a member of the NBC Sports family, Ahmed Fareed, recently named the studio host for NBC Sports Big Ten College Countdown and Monday Night NBA coverage. He said, and quote in the statement, "College football under the lights is sacred, and we've got the crew to match its energy, plus helping shape our NBA coverage and its return to NBC Sports. I can't wait to start. I'm thankful to be trusted with these roles. I'm even more motivated by the responsibility that comes with them." That is a first-class statement in of itself, Chase. Congratulations to Ahmed Fareed, who will be joining the great Big Ten Saturday Night crew on NBC in the studio, and then with Noah and Todd and Catherine and sometimes Paul Burmeister. Oof, man, I cannot wait for Big Ten Saturday Night.
It's a loaded crew, man. I mean, keep adding great people to that panel and, you know, just trying to make the show even better. And Maria Taylor gets the chance to just do Football Night in America after she just had her, her kid not too long ago. And congrats to her, obviously, this past season. But again, I mean, just NBC it's been growing, and they got a lot of great people over there on camera and behind the scenes.
I'll tell you, it was so cool, and you sent me this from Fanatics Fest to see all the NBA on NBC and Sunday Night Football merchandise. Like, this is a real thing. Yeah. I mean, Sunday nights are going to become at least a 3/4 of the year-round thing, and we'll see if that continues maybe into the summers. You never do know. So great time to be an NBC Sports fan. They are not only evolving, but they're going back to the future, if you will.
Yeah, they are. They definitely are, and they are ready to keep on the incline, to say the least.
Keep on the incline. That's a good one. Okay, so we've got a lot to get to on today's show. We did the first stage of the Eras Tour last week. Atlanta traffic still messing with me. I've forgotten what my weeks are, so that's been fun.
Too.
And then we had Chase Burns' electric debut. So that was fun when the Reds beat the Yankees 2 out of 3. I know you were there. I was there. That was fun. And then so we've had that. We did 2006 through 2008 Sunday Night Football on NBC. We're changing things up today, though, Chase. I just got back from vacation, so I don't have my notes ready for the next Eras Tour show, but don't worry, it's coming. It's coming. The next show, 2009 and 2010, which that's going to be a lot of fun to talk about. So, and I have the greatest segue in the history of all segues coming up for that show, so stay tuned.
Oh, boy.
But today we're going to talk about 2 other franchises in which Al Michaels is or has been a part of throughout his announcing career, JC. This is what is so great about the NFL. It's we promote the cross network product that is the National Football League.
That was a pretty good segue overall in general, considering that this is a Waiting All Day for SNF podcast, and Al Michaels has literally done both of these networks. He's just one of the all-time GOATs, as anyone could just say. You know, he's done it all.
He has. He has done it all and is still continuing to do a great job. We are going to take a look at the Monday Night Football and Thursday Night Football schedule breakdowns. We did this briefly on our schedule release show back in May, but we wanted to take a look more in depth. I figured I've got notes for both shows today. Chase has a very passionate interest in all of these franchises, primetime NFL franchises, as we get right into it. And here's how we're going to do it. We're going to do it a little differently. We're going to start with week 1 Monday Night Football and then alternate between Monday night and Thursday night. Since there's no Thursday Night Football game in week 1, there is, but it's on the great Sunday Night Football and NBC franchise. Then it goes to Prime Video in week 2. So let's get right into it. Monday Night Football, by the way, it's ESPN's 20th season of Monday Night Football, Chase. So a lot of celebrations happening this year.
Yeah,
not just SNF on NBC.
Yeah, 2006 was a big year for the NFL. I think we've continued to kind of say that as time's gone on. But again, that's where a lot of the changes have been made, and it's shaped a lot of things to the present. And what a present it's given us over the past 20 years and going forward.
Oh, what a present indeed. And they will have the Super Bowl next season on ESPN and ABC. The Manning cast will be part of that Super Bowl broadcast. But we start the 20th season of ESPN's Monday Night Football. Week 1, the Vikings at the Bears. This is an interesting matchup, Chase. I was not expecting this to be week 1, but I'll take it.
Yeah, I will too. I mean, you're looking at a division rivalry right there between these two teams. Caleb Williams starting off year 2 in his home, and then it's obviously a look at Ben Johnson being his first time as a head coach in the NFL. This is a team that he's seen a lot, as his time as offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, and not to mention JJ McCarthy's from LaGrange Park, Illinois. So this is a homecoming for him. And his first ever start in the NFL in a regular season game. I mean, this is big time on both sides of the ball. You've got stars from Minnesota, Chicago trying to step things up. It's a night game at Soldier Field to start off Monday Night Football. I mean, I don't know what more you could ask for if you're a fan of Northern football.
Northern football, NFC North football. Expect this game to be extremely physical. We always know that defenses are ahead of offenses in week 1. I expect that to be the case in this game. Both teams should be able to run the football. It's whichever team hits the big plays in the passing game the most, and whichever team turns the ball over the fewest times, that's going to win this game. J.J. McCarthy, I think, is perfect for this Vikings offense, Chase, because he's going to play the position like a point guard. Don't turn the ball over, hit the open receiver. Well, who are his receivers? Oh, well, he's got Justin Jefferson. He's got Jordan Addison. He's got T.J. Hawkinson. Oh, and then you have Aaron Jones to hand the ball off to. So he is going into a very, very prominent situation. And I'm interested in seeing, how good can Caleb Williams be with the Chicago Bears with Ben Johnson now as the head coach? I was in St. Petersburg, Florida this past weekend, and one of my sister's friends, her college roommate of all 4 years, is from Chicago, and she's a Bears fan. And I asked her, I'm like, do you think the Bears are going to do well this year? And she goes, well, I don't think Caleb Williams is that good. And I'm like, really? So the problems that he had last season were a result of him, or maybe the circumstances surrounding him?
And we're not going to know. We're not going to know week 1. It's going to take a good, honestly, half the season, could be a whole season to see that. It's an interesting thing because with him being a second-year quarterback and having his second head coach, that stuff's not just going to change overnight, but you can start to see some attitudes and actions that'll change. That stuff can change overnight, but the actual, success and winning culture shift, all of that, it's not going to happen week 1. It's going to be fun to see how he comes out and tries to start off this year too, because this is a big time test against a defense that's going to blitz the living hell out of him,
against an offensive line that I think you and I both still have major question marks about, even though they have addressed it in this offseason and in off seasons past. They are going to get a very, very good test from Minnesota's defense led by Brian Flores. So you mentioned if you like Northern football, week 1 Monday Night Football is for you. Well, let's keep it in the North And we go to week 2, Thursday night football, 24-year anniversary of 9/11. The first Monday night football game after 9/11, which Al Michaels called, was between Washington and Green Bay and Lambeau Field. And now 24 years later, on 9/11, it's the Commanders and the Packers on Thursday night football with Al Michaels on the call, along with Kirk Herbstreit and Kelly Hartzell and Chase. This is a doozy of a first Thursday night game on Prime Video this season.
This is big time. You got two, younger quarterbacks going out. Obviously, Jordan Love's going to his 6th year, but still, I mean, the love is in the air. Obviously, got married not too long ago, so congrats to him. But Jaden Daniels, I mean, this guy, talk about, being unleashed last year. He came onto the scene and, just took the league by storm. How does he encore that? They played the Giants week 1, a game in which they should win, but again, divisional opponents, you never really know what happens in week 1. But this is an on-the-road night game test to start off in the early portion of the season. Washington, this is a very good chance for them to go out and start off 2-0 and see what that new look could be on offense with a guy like a Deebo Samuel. The question for me is Deebo, obviously going to stay healthy in the first week of the season, but is he really going to be as big of a chess piece and that vital early on in the game plans that the Washington Commanders have under Cliff Kingsbury? I think he will be. And I think we're going to see a very energized Deebo, regardless of what people say about how he looks right now,
That is an interesting element that I have not thought about a lot this offseason. Deebo Samuel going to Washington and joining an offense that is going to be very difficult to stop with Jaden Daniels and all that he can do, along with Terry McLaurin. And then you think about other players on that offense, guys that maybe you don't think about as much in the running game or in the passing game. But I think what's interesting for me is the Packers, this is going to be their second home game in 5 days to open the season, Chase, and they're playing the Lions at home week 1, 425 CBS. Is this a must-win game for the Packers if they lose that week 1 game to Detroit?
Yeah, they have to split. They have to split. Again, you see what happens when you go 0-2, your chances drop dramatically, and you've seen teams have been able to make that build up as the season has gone on. The Packers certainly could do that, but they have to split. I mean, you can't lose your first 2 games of the season against teams that you're going to be competing to go to a Super Bowl against. The Packers must win one of these first 2 games of the season. And obviously, if you're a Green Bay fan, you'd obviously want to beat Detroit compared to having to play Washington, because, I mean, both of these are going to be national TV games. But, I mean, you're going to see Detroit later on in the season. You're not going to see Washington again. I mean, you'd like to get that victory over Washington and kind of set that precedent going forward, but they have to split, okay? You can't start off 0-2, especially against those 2 teams in your home building.
Yeah, you definitely can't start 0-2. I don't care if your next game is at Cleveland, okay? You look at their schedule from weeks 4 through – you can go weeks 4 through, I'm trying to think where.
I wouldn't even slouch Cleveland. I'm serious. I really wouldn't. I don't know what they're going on at quarterback, but I mean, you still got a guy in Myles Garrett you have to go up against. He's a game wrecker.
Yeah,
you're 0-2, and he's like, I'm sniffing down Jordan Love. I'm ready to go. And next thing you know, I mean, if the Packers lose those 2 games and Cleveland smells blood and Myles Garrett gets after them, Packer could be 0-3, man, but I think they're going to find a way to obviously, win 2 of these 3 games in the first month of the season.
Can you do you think the Commanders are going to be burdened by expectations early this season?
No, I don't think they will. I think they've got a good enough schedule where they can really go after it and be fine. My camera's blurry, but I think they'll be fine.
By the way, I'm going through Twitter now. I'm trying to find – there was a guy on Twitter earlier today who did his Bengals uniform mock schedule and both teams in each of the Bengals 17 games. It was really, really good. He said, this is the combos. These are the combos I want them to wear. So that's why I'm trying to find this on Twitter. And then I came across Richard Skinner is ranking the Bengals top 25 Bengals to play in 25 seasons of Paycor Stadium. That's going to be fun to read through. And then NFL Daily, the podcast, has the best 25 players of the first 25 seasons of this century in the NFL.
Oh boy.
25 through 16. Oof, man. I mean, you want to talk about a pivotal time for the NFL. Like, this is it. And the podcast, the idea for us just fell into our hands. And that's why we're waiting all day for Sunday night. Okay. And as far as my rebuttal to your answer or my counter, I think that there's a chance they could. But don't forget, these guys are so young that they don't know what they don't know a lot about the Commanders' recent history. They're just going off of last season. And last season, it's not like the Commanders feasted off a fourth-place schedule. They beat the Eagles in Week 16. They beat Tampa Bay and Detroit on the road in the playoffs. They had Philly within 11 points in the fourth quarter of the NFC Championship game. They are not going to – I don't think they're going to be burdened by expectations that much. The only reason why they may start a little slower this year is because they're not going to be able to catch teams by surprise like they did last year. Teams are going to have had the whole offseason to study Jaden Daniels and this offense. But when you have great players, you're not going to keep them down long. So if they do start a little slower, they're going to surge late because their schedule late, believe it or not, is favorable. You'll hear from them as we continue with our primetime schedule. Oh, we got a Monday Night Football doubleheader chasing Week 2. And wait, hold on a minute. What is this 10 o'clock matchup doing? Wait, 10 o'clock?
It's like an NBA doubleheader, man. This is something. What do we got here? We got Bucks Texans at 7 o'clock, and then we got Chargers Raiders at 10. So doubleheader action.
You're going to simulcast that Buccaneers Texans game at 7 o'clock, as you said, and then the Chargers Raiders game exclusively on ESPN. Buccaneers and Texans, that's a fun matchup.
Yeah, I mean, you got two gunslingers at quarterback and a fleet of receivers on both sides of the football, and then teams that have really emphasized the pass rush over the last year or so. And it's going to be fun to see which team can get after the quarterback and ruffle the feathers more of Baker Mayfield or CJ Stroud, and which receivers can get open quicker and be more effective during the course of teams blitzing and trying to get that pressure on those QBs.
If you missed our interview with Noah Eagle we did a few weeks ago, you can check that out on the Cut to the Chase podcast YouTube page. So he mentioned that the Texans' corners were thoroughly impressive last season and that they got exponentially better. So you have great receivers and corners and defensive backs in this game on both sides going at it. And let's not forget 2 years ago, CJ Stroud against Tampa Bay, that was his breakout game.
Yeah, I mean, that's what put him on the scene and put the Texans really over the top as the season went on.
They're 17-10 in the regular season, the Texans, since that game. Or including that game. They've played 27 games, including that game. They are 17-10 their last 27 regular season games, plus 2-2 in the playoffs. So 12 overall. Chargers Raiders is the nightcap, or I should say I don't think you can even call it the nightcap. What do you call that? The midnight oil, so to speak?
The late game, man. I mean,
the late game.
It's just late game. I mean,
NFL after dark.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, you got the Chargers, the playoff team from last year, the Raiders with Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, Ashton Jeanty. I mean, Brock Bowers. It's a better offense than you think from what the Vegas Raiders have. And then obviously, like you mentioned, I mean, it's a West Coast Monday Night Football rivalry that is late at night. You wake up in the middle of the night. You got work on Tuesday morning, and you're wiping off your eyes, and you're like, it's the fourth quarter, and it's 17-17. Nice. Great game. I think it's going to be a good game.
You're taking me back to when I used to work overnight hours when I did TV news producing, and that would be the situation that I'd be in if I was still in that with this 10 o'clock game on ESPN. I will say this right now. If you're the Chargers, you better be ready for this game. You better be ready. Because the Raiders are not going to be a pushover this year. They are not going to be a pushover with Pete Carroll now at head coach. There is some talent on that team. And when I think about the Chargers' first two games, they host the Chiefs in Brazil. Then they go to the Raiders for Monday Night Football. You drop two games in the division out of the gate, good luck digging yourselves out of that position in the AFC West.
Oh, it's going to be tough. You can't do that, especially, you haven't even played a true home game yet it's going to be interesting. The Chargers have a lot of pressure to start their season off. I'll tell you this, Alex. Usually I have problems like looking for my keys and stuff like that. I misplaced them, but I'm pretty sure I found them. But I think they're in your hands. If you don't mind passing me the keys back over, we're going to get this drive going a little bit quicker. We got a lot of great games to talk about, all right? And to look at it, week 3, Thursday Night Football. Thank you. Yes, and I'll grab it. Camera, boom. There we go. Okay, so week 3, we've got this is a very good combo of Thursday night, Monday night, as we'll keep going back and forth for this.
Yes.
Dolphins, Bills, Orchard Park. I mean, it's Tua versus Josh Allen, the entire cast of the Miami Dolphins, including Minkah Fitzpatrick, that's going to be playing on the back end. This is going to be a fun one, Alex.
This is going to be a fun one. My only wish is it was in December because it's the Bills' final season in their outdoor stadium, so you want the Dolphins to have to play you in December like they did in Week 15 of 2022. Remember how much fun that game was? I was in Florida, ironically, for that game. So, but this is one of my favorite rivalries in the NFL. It truly is. And it's gotten so much better because, as you mentioned, Tua and Josh Allen. But Buffalo is going to be ready. I mean, they want to beat the brakes off Miami in their last time they're going to play them outdoors, at least in the regular season. And I think the proverbial question for the Dolphins is, can they beat an elite team? Can they beat an elite team, Chase?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Mike McDaniel's still asking that question, and we'll see if they can answer it early on in the season. But then you go to Monday Night Football. I mean, what a matchup we have right there. Detroit has to go into Baltimore, one of probably the toughest place to play, statistically the toughest place to play a road game at night since 2008. And they got to take on the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. I mean, wow, what a matchup we have in September.
Not only is Baltimore a tough place to play in primetime since 2008, but also John Harbaugh and the Ravens are one of the best September teams in his tenure as Ravens head coach. And the last time the Lions went into Baltimore, it was October, but they got smashed.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, they're 22-5 in the regular season since then. So they've been really good, and they've rebounded very nicely. That could have destroyed them in years past, losing that game. It didn't. But now you got to go on the road in primetime, your first true, really big litmus test this season. If you're a fan of AFC North, NFC North clashes, this game is going to be smash mouth in your face.
This is going to be a big one. You're going to see a lot of AFC versus NFC North football games this season, and they will be very appetizing as we move on to the last weekend of September, Thursday Night Football. Two teams that really flew under the radar this past year, the Seahawks and the Cardinals. The Seahawks won 10 games and didn't make the playoffs. And then the Cardinals at one point, I mean, they were leading this division. Like, we didn't really mention the whole fact that Kyler Murray played all 17 games this year, that, Marvin Harrison Jr. is there. They've got an interesting dynamic. Jonathan Gannon in his second year kind of got this defense up to more standards of where they wanted. Trey McBride, one of the best fantasy tight ends out there, one of the best tight ends, period, in the National Football League. The Cardinals still confident. And this is going to be a fun test to see these two birds go at it and try to see who can really duke it out against each other, as these two defensive-minded head coaches have, trying to figure out questions on offense. The Cardinals have a lot on offense that they can go with, and Seattle's got a guy in Sam Darnold now, a quarterback. What will he look like the first 3 weeks going into the short week on Thursday night on the road?
You're absolutely right. This is a really interesting matchup. I'm happy to see it in primetime, happy to see a primetime game in the desert. Those are always fun, as we know. Yep. I think not only did you mention Kyler Murray played all 17 games last year, but since he came back from that knee injury and he signed a contract extension, he's been good. He's been good, Chase. I think that's another story that's kind of flown under the radar. He's been good. He's been reliable. So if the Cardinals can take that next step this season, I mean, they're like, I know we talk about the Rams and the talent they have, and the Niners, if they stay healthy this season. What about the Cardinals? And then Seattle, I mean, yeah, they lost a lot this offseason on offense, but they didn't lose a lot on defense. That defense is pretty good, Chase.
It definitely is. They got a young core, and then going back to Kyler Murray, 68% completion percentage, just under 4,000 passing yards, 21 touchdowns, 11 picks, and a 93.5 passer rating. Not much more you could ask for. Just maybe win one or two more games, and the Cardinals would have made the playoffs last year. Now we go to Monday Night Football. We got a doubleheader again, 2 September doubleheaders, and we've got some very good ones right here. So we got an AFC East rivalry between the New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins. It's a Justin Fields versus Tua Tagovailoa clash. Not a crash. That's not good. And then we go to the ABC exclusive just about an hour and 15 minutes after.
Yes.
The great game from Week 17, the Bengals and the Broncos renew their thing on Monday Night Football in Mile High. I mean, 10 years before they played each other on Monday Night Football, Mile High, and the stakes were much higher. I'd argue that, depending on looking at these two teams' schedules early on in the season, this is pretty big, to say the least, for teams that are trying to make their way back to, I'm not going to say relevancy, but really to make their way into that Super Bowl push as time goes on in the season.
This is the 4th time the Bengals and Broncos are playing on Monday Night Football since 2004. And all previous 3 times, you mentioned 2015. I don't know why you mentioned that. Don't get my memory like that, Chase.
Reasons.
I mean, okay. Let's talk about the year before Week 16, 2014. That was a good one.
Jeremy Hill. The good Jeremy Hill. But
good Jeremy Hill, Dre Kirkpatrick, good Dre Kirkpatrick, no less. So whenever these two teams get together, I don't know what it is, but something crazy happens. It's not just on Monday Night Football. And Jamar Chase against Patrick Surtain, that's going to be fun to watch, Chase. And then T. Higgins against Riley Moss on the other side. The question I have in this game is, can the Bengals offensive line handle the Broncos pass rush? Because let me tell you something, it is legitimately really good.
Oh, big time. And they made improvements on the back end as well in the secondary. So, I mean, it's not like there's going to be a lot of pressure on Joe Burrow, but he's also going to have some ball hawks lurking on the back end as the Bengals have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Yoshivas, Burton, Gesicki. This is going to be a great matchup between the skill players and the defensive backs in this one, but it's going to be an underlying story up front that cannot be the main story come Tuesday morning if you're a Bengals fan, that they gave up so much pressure and so many sacks and Joe Burrow's gotten hit. That can't be the thing come Tuesday morning.
No, it can't. I'll be at this game too, so that's going to be fun. So there's a guy on Twitter. His handle is @VonParody. So he did his uniform combos that he wants to see for each Bengals game this season. So for this game, he has the Bengals wearing all white, and then the Broncos wearing their blue jerseys they wore on Monday Night Football last year against the Browns with the white helmet. Ooh, that's a good visual right there, isn't it?
That would be a good visual, to say the least. I mean, that'll be fun to see.
You know what else is going to be a good visual? Finally, a primetime game between the Niners and Rams in LA. I feel like we've been needing this for years.
Yeah, and the Rams have been needing this one for years. I know they won last year, but it's going to be a good one to see. I mean, the Niners going to have that early season test against Matthew Stafford. Stafford against an energized Niners team, which I believe the Niners are going to be 4-0 going into this game.
I do too.
It's going to be tough. I've started my season predictions game by game in scenarios. So, this is going to be a big one for the Rams to try to keep themselves as the top class in the NFC West. It's been these two teams as time's gone on.
I feel like we may be overlooking the 49ers this season, because we're talking so much about the Rams and the Niners and what happened last year with all those injuries. If they stay healthy this year and that easy schedule, it's not inconceivable. And this may be a tease to my season predictions, which I kind of am almost done with. I went game by game this weekend, and I was like, I really like this. So the 49ers could roll their way with their easy schedule to the number 1 seed in the NFC. I'm not saying that means they're going to do damage in the playoffs. They may not be battle tested enough, but then again, they have a lot of guys who have been to the Super Bowl still on the roster. But are we sure the Rams are going to run away and win the NFC West this season, Chase? Because, I mean, as much as I love Stafford, and I know you've sung his praises, clearly I'm still in Atlanta traffic if I can't think straight. So I know Matthew Stafford is really good, but he's going into year 17. And if that connection with him and Devontae Adams doesn't, if that doesn't come into fruition the way we think it's going to, can that young defense bail them out? I don't know, Chase. I
mean, we'll see. I think it was good enough last year. If you got a good pass rush, I think you're going to be in a lot of games, and Stafford stays healthy and the Sean McVay system goes well. Kyron Williams at running back. Blake Corum comes back to, be a bigger piece of this. I'm just going to say it's going to be a fun battle. I think it's going to be a 14 battle again. I really do. And the Week 5 Monday night game.
I love this matchup.
Yeah, you do. And I like it as well because you're going to see the star of the league versus the
budding.
I don't know what I want to say. He's a gem. He's a
mysterious gem.
Yeah, it's the unknown, unlocked, the increased unlocked potential of Travis Hunter. And I'm going to tell you this right now, in a division like the AFC South, the Jaguars, they were not good last year in this game as Chiefs-Jaguars. But the Jaguars were not good last year. But then for 2 straight years, they did finish over 500, and they won the AFC South and won a playoff game. They've got a very underrated receiving core down there in Duval, and they've got some good players down there. Do not sleep on them entirely, I'll say.
I'm not sleeping on them one bit. And I think this is a big trap game for the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a much bigger game than we think it is.
Yeah.
And we know it's a big game. The Jaguars, to me, if Liam Cohen can get the most out of Trevor Lawrence, they are going to be a team you do not want to see and have to game plan for if you're an opposing defensive coordinator and defensive staff. That's a really fun matchup. Chiefs, Jaguars, Travis Hunter. You don't know what you're going to get from him, but that is just like put like the biggest mystery in the NFL against Patrick Mahomes and see Patrick Mahomes is going to have to throw against him potentially in this game. Let's go to Week 6, Thursday Night Football. This matchup is always great when it's in prime time, and I'm going to say this right now. I think this game could be much closer than people expect. The Eagles at the Giants. Can the Giants surprise people this season, Chase? That defensive line looks a lot like the Super Bowl teams that the Giants had.
They'll keep games closer. I'll tell you that. They're going to be a tough out. I don't know if they have the offense to do it, but I'll tell you this. That defensive line, like you just mentioned, fear put into the quarterback's eyes. And I'll tell you this. One guy that's going to fear them, Jalen Hurts. If they bottle Jalen Hurts up in the pocket, mark my words, the Giants win this football game. I'm just going to say it straight up. If they make Jalen Hurts like a condensed pocket passer, the Giants will win this game Week 6.
Wow, that's a bold prediction right
Very
there.
Bold.
And this is
Very
the Eagles. This is their only primetime game or featured game from weeks 3 through 9, but it's definitely a game that is going to be very difficult for them. They will have just played the Broncos the week prior. So you're facing 2 great pass rushes. Oh, by the way, you go to Minnesota the next week, so there's that. So, and then they play the Giants again in Week 8 at home before their bye week.
It's going to get tough.
Week 6 Monday Night Football. Look at these quarterbacks that we get to see in this doubleheader. 3 quarterbacks from the 2024 draft class, and the other quarterback just so happens to be the reigning NFL MVP and Josh Allen.
Yeah, wow. This is a big matchup. You got gunslingers, and then you've got the 2 number 1 overall picks, which played a ridiculously odd but fantastic finish of a 425 game last year. So
one that was flexed into a 425 slot.
Yeah. So, these are 2 games that are going to be fun to go back and forth on, and I'm excited to see great young quarterback play and then the league MVP go after it.
Bills-Falcons, 7:15 on ESPN. That's a game I can see the Falcons winning. There's always that game, Chase, where you see the Bills lose at this point of the season that you're always surprised at, a.k.a. Week 6, 2021, Monday Night Football at Tennessee. Yeah. And then the Bears-Commanders. I feel like this is a big revenge game for the Bears because everything that happened before the Hail Mary last year was good. Aside from 2 losses, they were playing okay.
They're going to be 5-2 if it wasn't for that play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is going to be the first time we see Washington on Monday Night Football this season, and it's the start of a brutal stretch down into the entire rest of the regular season. Week 7, Thursday Night Football, Chase. It's now Aaron Rodgers versus Joe Burrow.
I'm just going to say this right now. I think this game takes over, other than like Christmas night, obviously, just it's Christmas night. I think this game takes over as TNF's like main game, if I'm being completely honest.
Like its best game of the year.
I think it is. I think it's the best. I think it's the most anticipated game on the TNF schedule.
Von Parody on Twitter, at Von Parody, says he thinks the Bengals should wear their white Bengal uniforms and the Steelers wear their black jerseys, gold pants. Ooh, that's going to be a good visual if that happens.
It would be a great visual. And you just think about Aaron Rodgers versus Joe Burrow. The second time that's happened. The first time it was a ridiculous game in Week 5 of 2021. But just think about it, though. The moves that Pittsburgh made on defense, and then Jalen Ramsey comes to Pittsburgh, and he goes up against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins for the first time since playing in the Super Bowl. I mean, this is Bengals Steelers night games obviously haven't fared well for the Bengals over the course of time, and obviously something happens every time these two play at night. And this is going to be a game full of a lot of hostility, whether it be from the players, whether it be from the fan bases. And you've got Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit on the call for this one. This is going to have the feel of an old Sunday Night Football game, is all I'm going to say.
Like Week 7, 2012.
Hopefully the result's different.
Hopefully it is. Let's go to Monday Night Football Week 7, final Monday Night Football doubleheader of the regular season. It's an interesting one. We've got the Buccaneers and Lions, 7 o'clock, ESPN, ABC. And then, this is a unique one, Texans, Seahawks, 10 o'clock on ESPN+. Chase, I've said this to you before, ESPN+. I've said that I don't understand why a Monday Night Football game is exclusively streaming on ESPN+. But ESPN+ was invented to have matchups as unique as this one, like the Texans and the Seahawks. So for that reason, I can get behind it. 10 o'clock on a Monday night, 2 days after I run a half marathon in Louisville, yeah, I'll sit down and watch that game. And maybe the good people at the fish market in Seattle will send me some seafood to dig into during this game. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, first off, wow, that's a lot. And then secondly, I mean, this is going to be an interesting game to have on ESPN Plus that late at night. Again, it's a fun matchup. You got a great young cast going against another great young cast, and you're going to see who can stand above, all of the, talent versus talent. Who can stand out a little bit more, and who can make that one more play to put their team over the top in their respective divisional races. The Texans have a lot on their mind as they're trying to win their third straight division title, and Seattle's trying to get back to where they think they belong after not winning a division title in 5 years.
It's amazing to think. One of the more consistent teams in the NFL has not won a division title in the last 5 years. Week 8, Thursday Night Football. I love this matchup. What say you?
Great one. I mean, this is in contention for the matchup of the year for TNF as well. There's a few of these on the schedule. Don't get me wrong. But, this is JJ McCarthy, Jim Harbaugh, that whole storyline. The Vikings went out there literally I think it was week 8 last year against the Rams.
Yeah.
And they, it was, they lost to that was so weird last year, but this is just going to be a fun matchup this year. Chargers defense is really good. Vikings defense is really good and aggressive. Again, who can get after the quarterback more, who can make plays on the outside a bit more. And honestly, I think whoever's going to be able to run the football more effectively is going to win this football game, in my opinion. Can Kevin O'Connell dial up some stuff? Can he protect his younger quarterback? Can Justin Herbert avoid some bone-crushing hits that this Vikings team delivers? I don't know. We'll see.
We will see. And then if you think this matchup is good, well, just wait till Monday Night Football in Week 8. Simply put, Jaden Daniels against Patrick Mahomes, the ultimate test for any rising star quarterback in the NFL. Even Joe Burrow had this challenge when he faced Mahomes for the first time in Week 17 of 2021. This, by the way, is the Chiefs' 5th primetime game in the first 8 weeks of the regular season. That is wild to think about.
Yeah, I mean, Chiefs are they're a main course. They're no appetizer. So you got a big game like this, Chiefs got to go out there and deliver. And we're going to call a bit of an audible right now. We're going to hyperspeed this one. We're going to hyperspeed this November scheduled, to put it lightly. let's look at this real quick. All right. So week 9, we've got Thursday night football. I'm going to go through your week 9 to 13 Thursday night football, and then I'm going to go through your week 9 Monday night football. And we're just going to get, quick fire thoughts out on each game. If you're good with that. All right.
I'm good with that because we have so many good ones in December that we should spend a little more time on.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I like your in-show audible, like the true sheriff that you are.
Can one of two hands to do that. All right. So the Omaha set. Here we go. This is still technically October 30th, but whatever. Ravens, Dolphins. The last time these two teams played each other down there in Miami was a Thursday night football game. Lamar Jackson got blitzed like 40 times, and the Dolphins upset them. Excitement for this game, 1 to 10.
7 because I think the Dolphins can upset the Ravens.
Very true. I agree with that. Monday Night Football, we've got Cardinals and the Cowboys. Also a matchup from 2020 Week 6. Are the Cardinals going to show that they're for real at this point in the season, or are the Cowboys going to surprise people?
Excitement level is around a 6. I think the thing about this game is these are two middle of the pack NFC teams. And if the Cardinals, which we've talked about them taking that next step, the problem is in the NFC, if you're like where they were last year through 15 games, 7-8, you're not making the playoffs. If you're 9-6 or 10-5, you have a chance. But that shows you how good the NFC is going to be this season. That's a fun one. Also, Kyler Murray returning to his home state. That's a great element to this game.
Went to Allen High School over there, big-time stadium. Week 10, you've got an AFC West battle between the Raiders and the Broncos. A beautiful visual, to say the least. And you're going to have two teams that really hate each other go after it. Sean Payton, Pete Carroll, fun one to say.
When you say Sean, when you say that head coaching matchup, that's going back to 2000. That's going back to the mid-2010s. Yeah. But great to see this AFC West rivalry in prime time again, especially in November, a game in Denver. This will be fun.
And then you roll over to Week 10 Monday Night Football on November 10th. This was the game that ESPN released separately before the actual schedule dropped. It's the Eagles going up to Lambeau Field to take on the Packers. This is a great matchup.
It's a great matchup because it's two hallmarks of the NFC, and it's also that huge game for the Packers. It's Jordan Love as good as a quarterback like Jalen Hurts, but also it's about the rest of the Packers roster. Like if you're a receiver, help your quarterback out. Jordan Love, yes, the Packers struggled to beat elite teams last season, but they competed. Now it's just about winning. Help your quarterback out who's giving you a chance to win these games.
Then we go to Week 11, November 13th. It's the Jets at the Patriots on Thursday Night Football, a matchup back in 2008, which was one of the craziest Thursday Night Football games of all time, that Brett Favre beat Matt Castle in. Wow, that's a vault one. Thoughts on this one?
Now it's Justin Fields versus Drake May. Can't say I'm a huge fan of this matchup right now. I definitely think I could be if the Jets can surprise people this season. I think Aaron Glenn is going to run a no-nonsense program at operation with the Jets. I think they have quietly cleaned house and they're starting over again, I know, but I think they have a lot of interesting pieces. And if Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson reestablish their connection from The Ohio State University, don't overlook this Jets team and their offense this season. Now, Chase, one of your marketing pitches has come into fruition for Week 11 Monday Night Football.
Yes, it is. It's the Dallas Cowboys and the Las Vegas Raiders. They would be remiss if they were not being able to put this game in some sort of a primetime slot. And I think it's perfect that Joe Buck and Troy Aikman get to call this one.
America's team making their first ever trip to Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world. As you mentioned, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman on the call. It seems fitting. Two teams of drama, and if both teams have similar records, this is going to be a very, very big game. Now to my favorite Thursday night football game on the schedule, Chase.
This is a great one, and this one should have been a primetime game last year, a 4:00 game. It's Bills and Texans. I'm glad this one is getting the national attention that it needs. It's slowly making its way back into the general viewing public. But wow, you're talking about Josh Allen versus CJ Stroud. This is a fabulous mid-November classic.
Fabulous mid-November classic. And here's the thing. This is not a short road trip for Buffalo on a short week. The flight from Buffalo to Houston, I looked it up this morning, 3 hours, 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, Houston beat Buffalo last year. So, if these two teams are 7-3, 8-2, that's going to be a fun matchup. And then, hold on a minute. Bryce Young making his way onto the Monday Night Football schedule.
And going out west to Santa Clara to take on the Niners. I actually had this one as an SNF game, and it was a weird one. It was one that was like the black sheep of the family, but we'll take it. This is a Monday Night Football. That's a crazy thing to say. Crazy thing to say, but wow. I mean, this is a great matchup to say. You were excited about this one, and you loved seeing that on the mock schedule and this one getting the national attention that it needs.
It was on my Monday Night Football mock schedule week 5, but I'll take it week 12. And Carolina, like if they're going to take the next step this season, if they're 4-6 or 5-5, playing in the NFC South, which is not a runaway division, this is going to be a significant game for them. But again, discount the 49ers at your own risk because they're going to come back this year. Now we go to Black Friday.
Don't know how I feel about the matchup. I think it could be good, but at the same time, I'm not entirely sure. But it's Bears-Eagles. I could see the world where the Bears make it close. I could see a world where the Eagles blow them out. And it's going to be a fun picture. All right. They want to get Caleb Williams out there, Ben Johnson, see if that offense can get going. If the Bears are around that 500 mark, this is going to be a very fun game to watch.
We just get the Eagles in their black uniforms, which is always a great visual there, or even their Kelly green, which would be really fun to see. Where are the Bears at by this point in the season, Chase? You alluded to it. That's what I'm interested in. By the way, Advon Parody on Twitter for the Bengals-Ravens Thanksgiving night game. How about this visual? He has the Bengals in their white jerseys, orange pants, and the Ravens in their black jerseys, purple pants. That's a good visual right there.
That is a great visual for the appetizing eye. And then we go to finish out week 13. I know it's December, but it's a Super Bowl matchup that's helped us out a couple of times and has helped out all of America, to say the least, that doesn't like Tom Brady. It's the Giants and the Patriots on Monday Night Football. It's going to be a good one. It's Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. They called the first Super Bowl between these two teams, one that was shocking.
The greatest Super Bowl of all time, if you ask me. I'm so happy this game is back in prime time. I mean, my childhood was made by the Giants and Patriots. I mean, full disclosure, grew up a Giants fan, so I watched the 2 Super Bowls. I remember the 2007 16-0 game on NBC, simulcasted with NFL Network and CBS. I remember Jake Ballard, who went to my high school at Springboro, catching the game-winning touchdown week 2011. I remember week 10 of 2015, Stephen Gostkowski game-winning 54-yard field goal just before time expired. So beyond happy to see this game back in primetime. Okay, that's November. How about this to start week 14 on Thursday Night Football? Cowboys at Lions. Finally, these two teams playing a Thursday night game the week after Thanksgiving in Detroit. Oh, my goodness, is this going to be good, Chase?
Wow. I mean, we've talked about this before of Thanksgiving teams playing that following Thursday night game. And we haven't seen the two teams that are literal main staples that cannot be washed out or unblemished without Thanksgiving being a Cowboys and a Lions game, respectively. They get their own matchup the week after in the Dome. And the last time I remember these two teams playing in Detroit, it was back in 2019, and the Dallas Cowboys wore their blue jerseys on white pants, and Detroit wore white at home in mid-November. I want to see it again. I want to see it again.
That's a good visual right there.
I want it again. They can go even better, actually.
So these two teams are going to be playing their second Thursday night games Thursday games in a span of 5 weeks. That's another element to this game. So be ready. Okay. Monday Night Football Week 14. This may be the signature Monday night game of the season outside of Commanders Chiefs. How about this?
I thought it was going to be an SNF game, but again, they distribute these very well. I mean, it's Jalen Hurts and Justin Herbert. You've got Eagles and Chargers. Again, I think this is going to be another beautiful picture when it comes to the colors and the matchup and everything else. Saquon Barkley, that guy played pretty well at SoFi last year against the Rams. Get the chance against the Chargers. A bit tougher of a defense that I would say. But again, I am very excited for this matchup. Which quarterback from the 2020 class is going to step up, and who from the supporting cast is really going to make a name for themselves? Saquon Barkley already has a name that's pretty much stamped in the history books. Can he do it once again?
That is going to be very true. I mean, it's an elite quarterback matchup, Sirianni versus Harbaugh. That's going to be fun. Now we go back to Week 15, Thursday Night Football. I was just near Raymond James Stadium, and if you remember last year's TNF game between these two teams, boy, the implications for this game could be massive. Falcons at Buccaneers.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, I had this as a potential Thursday night game, a potential Thanksgiving night game on my mock scheduled, and we were talking about we want to see Tampa host more night games, and especially a big time one like this, where you think that these are the two teams that are going to be competing for that division. The Bucs are trying to win their 5th straight NFC South title. And the last time they didn't win the NFC South title, they won the damn Super Bowl. So they've been pretty active and consistent over the course since the 2020s decade started. The Falcons are trying to get their get-backs as time has gone on. Obviously, they beat them twice last year, but they were not able to finish the job when they needed to. This is a point in the season where these two teams could have very similar records or close to it. And the first matchup since their Week 1 battle, which will be on September 7th, someone's going to be avoiding getting swept. And that could be the deciding factor of this NFC South division. Man, this is going to be a great matchup on Thursday Night Football late in the season.
Two gunslingers going at it at quarterback, Michael Penix Jr., Baker Mayfield. I cannot wait for this game. I wouldn't be surprised if both of these teams ended up in the playoffs and just maybe a third matchup between these two teams this season. All right, these two teams have been in the news cycle this week. Now they're going to play on Monday Night Football in Week 15.
Yeah, you got the Dolphins and the Steelers, Minka return game.
Which, by the way, Minka was traded from Miami to Pittsburgh. Now he's going from Pittsburgh to Miami.
I mean, are they going to have to create the Pittsburgh-Miami canal for this guy to travel through? I don't know what's going to happen. Is he going to get sent back to Pittsburgh a couple of years from now? I don't know.
I don't know either, but I just hope it's not like Week 12, 2007, when the final score was Steelers 3, Dolphins nothing.
Oh, gosh. You're bringing back a memory there. Jeez, that muddy, murky, and it wasn't even murky. That was just a swamp of a field. So, yeah, hopefully that doesn't bring back any of that stuff. But, man, you've got on December 15th. This is going to be a good game. One of these teams, and I honestly think both of these teams are going to be battling for something regarding the playoffs, whether it be division. The Steelers always find a way to make it about the division or the wild card. And the Dolphins have too much talent not to be battling for that. But this could be an elimination game for one of these teams, and the writing could be clearly on the wall once we reach postgame for this one.
I would love the Dolphins to wear their white throwbacks from the 70s and the Steelers to wear their throwbacks from the 70s.
That
man.
Would be beautiful. That would be beautiful. Did they do that 2019 Monday Night Football?
I don't remember that.
The Steelers wore their throwbacks. I remember they wore the throwbacks that night.
I just remember the Dolphins blitzing on 3rd and 20, and people said, yeah, that's how you know they're tanking. And then they ended up not getting the first overall pick. Thank you, Miami. So
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Sincerely, thank you. And we'll thank you again, Week 16, December 21st of this season, which I will also now Chase be at that game. So
we'll see.
Looking forward to that. By the way, @Von Parody on Twitter has the Bengals wearing their white uniforms for that game, and the Dolphins going with their throwback green jerseys, white pants. Ooh, that's going to be good to see.
That would be a beautiful one. And then another great matchup, which again could decide the division at this point in the season. These are the two top teams in the NFC West last year, and I feel like it's going to be another 4-team race in this regard. It's the Rams traveling to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Cooper Kupp. Once again, at this point in the season, obviously the first time they play each other, he's going to want to try to, create, have a statement for this one. This is where, you start to see the X's and O's, and you start to see teams try to pick on matchups here and there. I mean, I don't know if there's a corner on the Rams that's going to be able to cover Cooper Kupp if he's healthy. And if Cooper Kupp's healthy at this point, odds are Seattle's probably in a pretty decent spot if Sam Darnold's playing the right way of football. I don't know. This could be a game where Cooper Kupp could go for about 10 or 11 catches, in my opinion.
If Sam Darnold and Cooper Kupp establish that connection, the Seahawks are going to be fine. And if Jackson Smith and Jigba, former Buckeye, can take that leap, they're going to be fine. I mean, this team won 10 games last year, and their defense we know is going to come to play. I just think about the Rams. They host the Lions, America's Game of the Week, the week before this game. Then they go to Atlanta for we'll get to it in a minute. So this is a trap game for the Rams, even though there's really no such thing as a trap game in the NFL. Yeah. This is a fun matchup. Now, if you're a fan of eras like we are, and you remember the Joe Montana and Steve Young eras for the 49ers and the Peyton Manning era for the Colts, and now they merge together these two teams, red, white, and blue, Monday Night Football, late December in Indianapolis. Two teams that were good in two different eras. I am not going to put it past the Colts to be around that 7-7 mark going into this game, Chase.
Yeah, red, white, and blue on December 22. It's interesting because the Niners, again, at this point, I think we both agree. I think they're going to bounce back heavily this year. The Colts find their way in that 500 mark late in the season. You're like, we haven't seen them much in prime time, and you've got Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones as your quarterback, but then they got Jonathan Taylor back there running the football. Their defense, is it good or not? They just kind of find their way winning games and keeping themselves in the conversation as the season goes on later and later. And you're finally really going to get a chance to see them in the national spotlight. They don't have a Sunday night football game this year. They also don't have a Thursday night football game this year. This is really the only time where you're going to see them in the national spotlight. It's going to be late in the season.
Yeah, other than that Germany game they play in week 10, you're right. So I just think Daniel Jones, and I know a lot of people are remembering him and that he wasn't very good last year. Well, the Giants weren't very good around him.
Yeah,
and if anybody tells me Daniel Jones shouldn't start over Anthony Richardson, I will politely point out to you that Anthony Richardson threw 12 interceptions to only 8 touchdowns last year. Daniel Jones has only thrown 12 interceptions one time in his career, which was his rookie season in 2019. Oh, by the way, that same season he threw for 24 touchdowns. So you tell me who gives the Colts a better chance. Before we get to the Christmas night, Thursday night football game, week 17, let's briefly go over the Christmas game day on Netflix matchups. It's going to be – here's the great thing. All 3 NFL games on Christmas, Chase, are going to be exclusively streaming. How about this, at least on the national side of things? So Christmas game day on Netflix, 1 o'clock, Cowboys, Commanders. Ooh, sign me up for that.
Beautiful one. I can't wait to see these announcing teams for those games too.
If our good friends Noah and I and Eagle are going to be on the calls for those games like they were last year. And then the second game, oh, man, NFC North clash, Lions, Vikings.
I mean, damn, the NFL knew what they were doing with this one, and they really knew what they were doing in that Thursday night game, Christmas night. This is a game that you literally put on a sign, stuck it up in the air, and we're literally picketing for it. I want this matchup, Broncos Chiefs. There we go. Thursday night football, Christmas night game.
Christmas night game. I had this on my mock schedule in Denver, but I'll take it in Kansas City. Yeah. Could this be the AFC West championship game?
I think it could be. I really do. I think Denver's going to be really good this year.
I think they're going to be better than the Chargers. Spoiler alert to my season predictions.
There you go.
One thing is for sure, the Broncos will not be intimidated by the Chiefs. They should have won in Kansas City last year.
They're the least intimidated of any team in that division. I mean, I'm just going to put it straight up. Regardless of who their quarterback was in the past, I still – Sean Payton, that's the thing. Sean Payton being there has instilled, you know what? We've got a coach that can pretty much coach with Andy Reid, to be completely honest. Like, Andy Reid is he's one of the greatest coaches of all time. And some people have even said that he might be the greatest coach of all. I've heard some people say that. Not as much, obviously, but one of the greatest offensive minds of all time. Oh, 100%.
Sean Payton versus Andy Reid on Christmas night.
Woo! I'm telling you, man. I don't think coaches aren't going to say that. Okay, that guy like gets in my head or anything like that. Truly, Sean Payton, like this is a battle of of the elite minds of football history going against each other.
Yes.
Offensively, it is. I have my game plan. I can adapt to it, but I have my game plan. I'm going to stick with it, and I am so confident that my guys are going to out-execute your guys, and may the best man win.
And here's the thing. Denver's offensive and defensive lines, they're just going to line up and say, come at us. We're not
literally. And that's another thing, Alex. That's another thing. At that point in the season, injuries always are a big thing. That's just the name of the game in football. Who has more, more injuries, less injuries, who's stepping up and whatnot. If the Chiefs' offensive line's not that great and they have some injuries, Denver's going to be licking their chops looking for extras on Christmas night, and that could be a division title that night.
Oh, man. Can you imagine if Denver goes into Kansas City on Christmas night and wins the AFC West?
Biasly, I'd be the happiest person on the planet. I don't know about happiest.
Sean Payton, coach of the year, if you ask me.
Oh, I mean, we talked about this on an episode before. If Denver wins their division, Sean Payton should be coach of the year. I don't care. You win a division against Pete Carroll, Jim Harbaugh, and Andy Reid.
Right there.
Literally. I think if it's not Andy Reid, I think the winner of that division, the coach of the winning team in that division, should win coach of the year. Obviously, there's other stuff that goes on. I get that. But if Sean Payton, after seeing what happened in 2023, the Russell Wilson contract situation, drafting Bo Nix 12th overall, taking them literally out of nowhere and cap hell and everything else with, playing with house money at that point and going to the playoffs. And then if they can keep things going forward in year 2 of Bo Nix and win the division, yeah, that's an easy decision right there. I don't have to see anything else that happens in the league.
Matchup of the game for me, the Broncos offensive line against Chris Jones. Wherever he lines up, he's going to have to work his tail to get to Bo Nix.
Yeah,
because that offensive line, they are not afraid. And then give me Sean Payton, Denver winning the AFC West title on Christmas night. And then let's run it back 2 weeks later on Sunday Night Football 8:15 of Super Wildcard Weekend, in Denver.
Ooh.
Oh, can you imagine that?
I'm trying to, and I think it would be great. It would be great. And I'll tell you this.
And it'll end on an off the upright and in, just for good measure.
It would. And then you go to Monday Night Football. This is a game where we're talking about a marketing pitch. Marketing pitch. There you go. Rams Falcons.
Love it.
It's a great one.
So I have these promos that I'm doing for every game, which I will read live with the music going on this podcast, which, by the way, we got some big stuff coming for you right here on this show throughout the season. So part of the promo is these are the last 2 cities to host the Summer Olympics. And not only that, Matthew Stafford's coming home to Georgia. And the implications that could be on the line in this game for both teams as far as the playoff picture and division title. Oh yes.
Yeah. Gonna be a good one.
That's a good one. It's like awesome. In-N-Out Burger versus Chick-fil-A.
At that point, shoot. I'm taking Chick-fil-A.
You know what's interesting, too, is like the Bengals open and orange game is going to be the Jaguars game. So they have the Jaguars wearing their road whites. They have the Bengals in the orange, obviously. I hope Jacksonville goes like white and green because then you can call it like a battle of the produce, right? You've got, okay, and it's like Publix versus Kroger. Let's have that. You know what we need to do, though, is we need to do a show where we go back and look at our box schedules and see how close we were with these matchups. Because some of them are going to be like, what in the world were we thinking? Others are going to be like, there we go.
Yeah. We still have an off season to do it. When you guys are seeing this episode, it'll be 9 weeks away, 63 days away from opening night kickoff between the Dallas Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles on NBC. This has been another fun episode for us. The Eras Tour will continue. What are we looking? 2009 to what year were we saying?
So we got 2009 and 2010, which is the first 2 seasons of Chris Collinsworth and the final 2 seasons for Andrea Kramer. So, and by the way, 2009 was the first year of a certain production called NFL Red Zone. I'm sure you've heard of that, Chase.
I think so. I think I've heard of it a little bit here and there.
I've been like thinking about the Sunday night games from both of those seasons. There is a Tuesday night game in this episode coming up.
It was originally. I
was at La Rosa's Pizza in Centerville watching this game.
Originally a Bengals flex game when they played the Chargers, but again,
that is right.
Again,
I forgot about this.
It's insane.
And I was at that game.
It's insane. It was blacked out in our area. If you weren't at the game, though. Yeah. But, wow, we've got a lot to dive into.
Saratoga ref that game, by the way.
Wow. Yeah. And I'll tell you this. We got a lot to talk about when we get to that episode and the emergence of what Chris Collinsworth has meant to Sunday Night Football as a game analyst is ridiculous in a great way.
Some brain dump on that if you can.
Oh my, yeah, a Greg Olson, and you'll see more clips about that as time goes on. All right, Alex, that will do it for today's episode. Have a great 4th of July, everyone. We love our country, I'll tell you that.
We do.
We really do, and. God bless America. God bless the game of football and every sport out there. And hope you guys have a great 4th of July weekend. We'll see you guys next time here on the Waiting All Day for Sunday Night Podcast. See ya.